But when I read in the book of Acts, it says the early church, it says, and they continued in the apostles' doctrine, breaking bread and fellowshipping house to house. That tells me that they spent time together outside of church. That lets me know that they built relationships and that they strengthened one another and that they helped one another. And that's what God has called us to do. Not just calling each other when we need something. Not just calling when we want to talk about somebody. But encouraging one another, lifting up. And there's not enough of that in the church anymore. Too much of the time, we just come, we shout, dance, have a good time, fall out, and go back home. But we're not building on one another. We're not strengthening one another. I can't do it all. And as Living Waters grows and as we blow up, the leadership ain't going to be able to do it all. We got to help one another. We got to encourage one another. We got to surround ourselves with folk that are trying to be like us. So we've got to be around the saints. That's why it says in Hebrews, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together. So we got to have the goal. So I asked the question, the title, where are you going? What are we doing? Why are we coming to church? Yes. Why are we serving God? Why did we get saved? What goals do we have? And if we have a goal, have we set out a plan on how to achieve that goal? You know, I look at the church. We just ain't having church to have church. I got goals. I've shared some of that with y'all. We want to be a different ministry. We want to make a difference in the community. We want to make a change. So, and that's nice to say. Whole lot of churches, yeah, we want to grow. Well, what you doing to grow? I want lives to be changed. We want to win the community for Jesus. Okay, what are you doing? Praying. But as ever go, we have specific targets. We're going to go out. We're going to evangelize. We're going to reach the community. We're going to have different programs. We're going to let folk know what we're doing. We're going to demonstrate the love of Christ by giving stuff away and by blessing folk and by helping folk. And it's all mapped out, all the things that we're going to do, because I got a goal, but I got a plan how to achieve the goal.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
That's what God has called us to do. So in your life, what goals do you have? Maybe your goal is to go back to school. Have you begun to work things out? Have you begun to find out what the admissions process is? Have you begun to find out what kind of financial aid you can get? Maybe your goal is to start your own business. Have you begun to look into, are there classes that you can take for cheap at the community college on business management? Have you looked into those kinds of things? Or do we just have a dream?
Oh my. Wow.
You know, like, you know. Any kind of dream, I don't know. I want to be an astronaut. Sounds as good as any. That's a good dream. But if I don't have a plan, I'll never achieve it.
That's right.
If I don't have a plan, it will never happen.
That's right.
God has blessed us. God has gifted us. So we have these goals. I want a better marriage. What steps are we taking to improve our marriage? I want to be a better parent. What steps are we taking to try to be a better parent? Because if I keep doing what I've always been doing with no plan to change, then my dream is just a dream.
That's right.
And 10 years from now, I'll still be talking about, I want to take my wife to Hawaii. I got to double check that plan. But see, I have a plan, so it'll happen.
Amen.
So inside the 10 years, we will be in Hawaii. Amen. Amen. But like I said, if we don't have the plan, and dreams are nice. Dreams are really nice. Dreams are good. When I was, and don't y'all laugh, but when I was 15 years old, my dream, was to be, the biggest rapper in the world. That was my dream. I didn't know nobody in the industry. I rapped in little basement house parties and stuff, and I never tried to get a record deal. I never tried to do any of that stuff. So how was it ever going to come to pass? It was a dream. It was a nice dream. It was a good dream. But I never had a plan. I never put anything in place. Now I know why, because God had a different plan for me. But again, we have dreams, and dreams are nice. My baby boy, I want to play in the NFL. Okay. That's a good dream. What are you doing? He's working out. He's getting himself in shape. You know, he got somebody training him over the summertime. You know, next year as a sophomore, he's going to be starting varsity football. And so I've talked to him about the things he got to do. I'm like, well, you got to keep your grades up. You got to keep yourself out of trouble. No matter what they call you, don't start fighting. Don't get sucked up in that stuff. You know, don't get caught up with the nonsense on the street. I'm trying to give him a plan. Because it's hard enough to achieve that on its own merit without you not having a plan. But my thing is, if that's what you want to do, then let me help you and let me begin to map out a plan. So that if that's God's will, it can come to pass. But if you never take the steps, it'll never happen. How many guys do some of us know that when we was playing, you know, basketball on the playground, man, I could be in the NBA, but you're not. But you're not, you know. My best friend's father used to call them folk that was all world. You know, he's like, that's them all world folk. Them folk that was too good to play on the high school basketball team, but just knew that they was going to play in the NBA one day. You know? So we got goals. What is your goal? What is the goal in your life? You know, what are your dreams? What is it you want to do? You want to start your business. You want to, you know, whatever it might be. You want to get out of debt. And we all, who don't want to be debt free? We all want to be debt free. We all want 750 credit, 780 credit, 800 credit. But are we taking steps? When you got your income tax, did you pay some stuff off? Or did you go on a shopping spree? And I say that all the time, but it amazes me. God bless us with something, and instead of doing what we're supposed to do with it, we go on a shopping spree. We don't pay stuff off. I get that next month. This month we going to AC. And y'all laughing because at least if it ain't you, you know somebody. You know what I'm talking about. You know, show up with the rental car for the week. Instead of getting their credit right so they can buy their own car. So what's the goal? What's the goal? What's the goal? Whatever the goal is, whatever God is laying on your heart, begin to ask God. Say, okay, Lord. And this is where prayer comes in. God, begin to show me how to set up a plan. Yeah. When God called us out to this ministry, we just didn't step out. We said, okay, we're going to do this. Now, God began to unfold things. God began to break stuff down to me. You know, the 6 pillars, the mirror, the missional, incarnational, relational, relevant, organic, and reproductive. God began to break those things long months and months ago. Just began to minister. God began to lay out the plan. Began to say, okay, Lord, how do we do this? How get everything right? Do everything right. Decently and in order. Had a plan to achieve the goal. So when the dream was realized, and that first step was taken and the baby was born, it wasn't because it just happened. There was planning that went into it. And for God to do what he wants to do in your life, you got to plan. You have to begin to take those steps and set that stuff up. That's what I want to do. This is how I'm going to do it. You know, whatever it is you want to do. Maybe your goal is something small, like you say, you know what, I want to lose 50 pounds. I want to lose 30 pounds. You know, are you taking steps? You know, not just getting the gym membership, but going to the gym. You know, not just signing up for Weight Watchers, but following. You know, eating the right kinds of food, changing your diet for more than 2 days. Because I know how we are. You know, we diet for 2 days. I've been there, you diet for 2 days, be like, you know, I'm getting fatter. Mix this. You know, go to the gym and work out for a month and be like, I done gained 3 pounds. Later for this. But work the plan. Work the plan. Get the goal and then work the plan. And train. Surround yourself with some folk that's going to push you. That's going to help you. It's going to help you achieve that goal. That's why God brought us together. So that we can do that. So where you go? What's your goal? What are you doing? Amen? Amen. Come on, stand to our feet all over the building. I want you to be challenged. I want you to leave here thinking. God really wants to do